Welcome to Ask Me Anyone. Today I have Dr. Mike with me, and I'm going to let Dr. Mike take it away and share his story.
Hello, Win. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, excellent. So
So
what
go ahead.
you want me to the story how I come to the States and where
Oh,
I am
yeah.
today? All
Oh, yeah.
right. Well, everybody can probably hear my accent when I'm originally from Belgium. I grew up in Belgium. I was actually born in 1971, the single family home, me and my brother. And we weren't poor because my mom provided for us. We had a roof over our heads and we had food, but we didn't have any extra money to spend for sure. So just obviously went through the motions over there, went to school, etc. And after high school, I really was into sports. I was a swimmer. So I went to the University of Brussels and did physical education for 4 years, which was obviously a lot of fun because I could do all those sports. But then I figured, what am I going to do with this degree? So then I decided to add physical therapy to it. And so I proceeded to get my degree in physical therapy. And meanwhile, I was traveling with the Belgian Olympic swim team in preparation of the Olympic Games in Atlanta in 1996. So we ended up touring the world, preparing for the games 94, 95, 96. And after the games in 96, they actually had a shortage of physical therapists here in the United States. So I was contacted by a recruiter and I was in my 20s, and he said, "Do you want to come work in the United States?" I said, "Yes, of course." And he said, "Where do you want to work, Mike?" I said, "Well, Fort Lauderdale would be nice because that's where we had our training camps." And he says, "Why Fort Lauderdale?" I said, "Well, I know the area and I know all the bars, right?" So 2 weeks later, he calls me back and he says, "I have nothing in Fort Lauderdale right now, but I have something in Ormond Beach." So I say, "Excuse me?" He says Ormond Beach. I say, "I don't know where that is, but the beach sounds fine." So I ended up in Ormond Beach, Florida, which is just by Daytona Beach, and started doing physical therapy. Ended up at a practice where they also did acupuncture and more alternative therapies.
Yeah.
And I witnessed that some of these therapies actually improved the results. So I got intrigued. I went back to school to the Florida College of Integrative Medicine, a 3-year program, got my license in acupuncture, doctor of Oriental Medicine, board certified in Chinese herbs, homeopathy, etc. And I really started practicing that. And a few years later, and a few thousand patients later, I decided that these what they call alternative approaches, such as food therapy, acupuncture, homeopathy, I decided they were less harmful than conventional medicine, meaning drugs and surgeries, but I didn't feel they gave my patients the lasting results I was looking for either. So I decided I had to go back to basics and I had to look deeper. And so I decided to do two things. I got my PhD in holistic nutrition, and I started to look at Mother Nature and see what animals in the wild were doing, because see, they have an instinct and they don't have a choice. They do whatever's best for them and their species. And so by doing those two things, I really think I find the truths about health. And now I really can help people with whatever they want to be helped with, because I feel I can help them regain control of their health and get back to normal and then optimize their health. And then even if they wanted to do what's called today biohacking, which is basically reversing their age or their biological age objectively. So, it was a long journey. I came here with $400 and a backpack to the United States because we weren't well off. And so I didn't have a mentor either. So it was always, trial and error. And many times, of course, in the past, started a small business, failed. People steal from you, those types of things. But I never was disappointed. I always ask myself, okay, what did I learn? And let's do it again, right? So my motto always has been, I never lose, I win or I learn. And so currently, I help people regain control of their health. I'm a mentor to many people in health and business, and I'm specializing in biohacking right now. So That's what brought me here, Win.
Well, I am amazed. I am amazed. And I have heard, I haven't done biohacking myself, but I have heard tremendous things about biohacking. But I have to tell you guys the honest truth that I love everything but physical therapy. And for those of you who know me well enough, for those of you who've been around me long enough in my personal life or in my fan base life, you guys know that I have a physical disability. And so I try my hardest to do alternative medicine along with PT.
Yeah.
And I try my hardest to pick PTs that also are into cupping and dry needling and acupuncture and all that good stuff because I don't necessarily like the PT aspect of it, but I like the make Wynn's body feel better aspect.
Yeah, yes, of course.
So yeah, so that's
Well,
my
yeah.
quick story about PT, and
No, that's good to hear, because like in any profession, when you have very experienced people that know what they're doing, and you have not so experienced people, and that's in any profession. And then number two, especially like in a profession like physical therapy, there's so many specialties, right? So
yeah.
some people are good at orthopedics, some good people are much better with strokes and neurological conditions. So based on what your ailment is, you really got to find a specialist. And if you find a specialist, you're really going to get good results. But often, a regular physical therapy place, they'll take all cases, even though they don't specialize in it. And that's when you're going to get poor results. But I agree with you. The more tools somebody has in their pockets, the more likely they will be able to help you.
Yeah, I do baseline PT, but I always look for the alternative medicines, PTs to the best of my abilities. Right now, my new latest thing is equestrian physical therapy, which they call hippotherapy.
Yeah.
So me getting on a big giant horse, yes, I can get on a big giant horse, and that's going to help a lot. But what would you say to people who are listening to this and thinking, oh, I want to do what Wynn and Dr. Mike do. I don't want to go to traditional physical therapist either. What would you say to them? Is there a way that I'm very lucky in my own sake? I Googled physical therapy place close to my house, to be honest with you guys, and they're lucky that they do alternative integrated physical therapy. And so, what would you say to people that don't necessarily like PT and they want something a little bit different?
Well, yeah, again, there's so much out there, right? And of course, again, there's good places and good therapies and bad therapies, although a lot of therapies may work for one person and not another. So often, people get disappointed. They try two or three things and they've been told, you're just gonna have to live with it. But never, never, never listen to any doctor who says something like that, because all that means is that they have a few tools in their toolbox and their tools will not work. But it doesn't mean somebody else's tools won't work, right? So, as long as you are alive, as long as you're breathing, your body will strive for perfect health, So we really need to find the tools that will, help the body heal itself. And if you haven't found them yet, that doesn't mean they're not out there. So obviously you got to do some research, but if you need help and you're really not familiar with all these therapies, you need to contact people like me, people that are well versed in it. A functional medicine doctor in your area may be able to help, or look up that wellness center that does bioidentical hormones and that does acupuncture and uses the words biohacking or regenerative medicine or stem cells, because those people are in this field of expertise and they may guide you in the right direction. Obviously, everybody listening can also go to my website, mvtonline.com or biohackingunlimited.com, and get a free 20-minute Zoom call with me, and I'll help them guiding in the right direction for sure. But functional medicine doctors are usually doctors that can get you started in the right direction, and give you the guidance and tell you whether or not they can help you or what therapies may benefit you. And that's probably should be the first step.
Yeah, talk to your general practitioner. And for me as an adult, I'm going to be honest with you. My physical therapist, day one, said to me, well, I haven't seen cerebral palsy since I was in undergraduate school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm here and help. They have helped in some cases, don't get me wrong, but they have helped in some cases. But I like to do it all. I like to get on a horse, do the exoskeleton, do which I was doing before I left Aspen, Colorado, do alternative medicine, do yoga, do PT, do horseback riding, do everything else along with PT, using
Yeah.
PT as my baseline, using physical therapy as my baseline, but on top of it, doing different stuff. So number one, I don't get bored. Number two, I can strengthen my body in a way that a physical therapist may not be able to.
No, that's really good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge champion of PT. I wouldn't be mess without it if I didn't have it to begin with. But I, in my own personal body, in my own personal life, I like to stack things on top of physical therapy because otherwise I would not like PT. So stacking the yoga, stacking the horseback riding on top of PT, yes,
Very good.
that helped. So have you yourself ever worked with someone with a disability?
Actually worked as a physical therapist, no, but I know people with disabilities. Obviously, in a physical therapy area, I specialized in orthopedic and sports physical therapy. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned this because the last few weeks I've been seeing a veteran who suffered a stroke 4 years ago, and he's a right hemi, so his right arm and right leg don't function properly anymore, but nobody really has helped him, especially not at the VA. And so he came for physical therapy, and he's one of those people that would do anything to get better, but he didn't get the right guidance and he really doesn't know what to do. So it's not my area of specialty. So I reached out to physical therapists that I know that specialize in these types of things. And so I took a video of him walking. I sent it to the therapist that specializes in. They gave me a whole set of equipment and treatments to do. So now I'm helping him. But as a therapist, as a healer, you need to know what you're good at and what you're not so good at, and especially. You got to involve a team of experts. If one of your patients needs something that you're not the best at, then you gotta give that resource to your patients, and so that's why my expertise comes in too. Is you gotta acknowledge your limitations and where your strengths and weaknesses are, and know people that are strong at what you're weak at, so you can complement yourself and continue to refer people and help people.
Yeah, physical therapists now might need to ask for help if they have a patient who walks in and says, I'm here, but you guys are looking at us like we don't know how to help you. So the next best bet is to have someone reach out to a different physical therapist, or you can go to a different physical therapist if you seen fit. I mean, if you don't like the PT, don't have them touch you because they may not understand cerebral palsy and or they may not understand your disability or your body
That is correct.
for that matter. And so don't let them touch you if you don't feel comfortable.
That's correct. Yeah.
Just don't, because it's easier if you go someplace else. And I know for a fact that I don't think, well, at the time, I don't think my physical therapist charged me for the initial evaluation because at the time I was on different insurance. But ask when you call a PT place, would you charge me for the initial evaluation? If they say yes, you say how much. If they say no, great. Otherwise, if you don't feel comfortable with a physical therapist touching you, please don't use them because that's a horrible experience. That's a horrible experience.
Well, again, when I would call up or call around, of course, it's important that they accept your insurance, but it's
Yeah.
more important for you to ask if they have experience or if they have a physical therapist on staff that has experience with your condition.
Yeah.
And if they say yes, how many patients have they treated and how many years have they been doing it? And try to find the most qualified therapist in the area, especially if you have a condition like yours. Now, any physical therapist can do a rehabilitation of a total knee replacement, but that's just very general and very common. But conditions like yourself, a regular physical therapist does not have much experience with it unless they specialize in it. So you really need to find a specialized therapist for the best results.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree because unless they specialize it and unfortunately when you are adult with CP, unfortunately CP is a pediatric condition, although we grow up, so that puts me in a little bit of a pickle with when they say, "Oh, I haven't seen one of you since my internship." But that's okay. It's okay. We'll work on you just the same. And so they have helped me. They have helped me. But as I said, for my body, I like to stack things on top of each other and then use PT as a baseline.
Yes.
So where can people find your website and where can people get a hold of you if they're interested in just talking business with you or just talking PT stuff with you or biohacking or where are you located? First of all, if people want to see you as a physical therapist, I mean, we could do that too. I know you do a lot of biohacking and a lot of entrepreneurship stuff, but let's not forget about bread and butter here, the PT stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, well, again, most of my time I travel around doing keynote speaking to bigger audiences, and with those audience, I send them to my website so they can schedule a free Zoom call. And then we have different mentorship programs, anywhere from our app to everybody's price range. But during the Zoom call, we basically try to simply figure out, who are you, where are you in life, what are your problems, what are your goals. And based on that information, we try to, tell them which program they need, and then we basically go to work and make sure we achieve the results and the goals that we had set forth for that particular client or patient. But regardless, anybody can call or reach out via email or schedule the Zoom call to ask any questions. We're always here to help with biohacking, productivity, focus, people with ADHD, anxiety, depression. There's many strategies out there. There's many nootropics out there. things like Focus Plus, which is a nootropic on the market today that really helps people focus better all naturally, get the work done, realize their dreams, realize their goals. So that's kind of the mentor that I am, is motivate people and guide them and make them accountable to reach the goals that we set and accomplish their dreams, whether that is regaining control of their health, whether it is finding inner peace, whether that is crushing a sales presentation or crushing their sales goals. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, we can help them to get there.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And we'll put the website in the show notes, and we'll just have you guys carry on. But mention your website, mention your main website, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, there's two websites I want to mention. Yeah. So my main one is MVT, as in Mike Van Thielen, mvtonline.com. But if you put in biohackingunlimited.com, biohackingunlimited.com, it's the same website. So mvtonline.com or biohackingunlimited.com. However, we also have a special for the show here. If you want to try a free sample of Focus Plus, which is an all-natural nootropic, which helps you focus and get more productive during the day without any side effects of any of the medications, such as Adderall, go get your free sample at clarigenz.com. That is CLARIGENZ, clarigenz.com. You can get a free sample there, and that's something that people really like to, balance their intelligence hormones, get focused and get the job done.
Well, I think people would appreciate that, and people would appreciate talking to you. And I hope you guys do talk to Dr. Mike and figure out what's best for you and ADHD, and figure out if you need focus and motivation, or just want to talk to him about business. That's perfectly fine too. And I would like to thank Dr. Mike for being on, and I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode. Thanks, you guys. Bye, you guys.